I'm part of a group of people that invest in startup companies. And most of the people in the group are retired executives who held fairly senior positions. But most of them did not have investing positions. Most of them were in operating positions. So they really understand when a company comes to them, and you have to understand manufacturing, or a company comes and you have to understand sales or marketing. They understand that. But when you talk to them about this, they really struggle. And it's a double struggle because they have a hard time with it. They understand it at one level. But then the entrepreneurs that they're negotiating with don't understand it at all. So you've got two people talking to each other, one who's totally clueless, and one who knows it should be important but really doesn't have that much practical experience with it. And it really creates a challenge. But anytime you look at a company, you've got to ask yourself, what should I be willing to pay for $1 of that company's revenues? Okay? And if I know how much I'm willing to pay, and I've got a sense of how much revenue they can produce, you're golden. And this might sound to you as sort of very, very sort of loose, but I've got to tell you, when a company like Facebook comes and they want to do an initial public offering, they do something comparable to this, but you use sales rather than earnings. And the investment bankers spend a huge amount of time talking to them about their sales growth and their sales projections. And then for a company like Facebook, they might multiply it by 5 to get what it's worth. Or for another company that isn't quite as sexy as Facebook, they might multiply it by 3. And if you do it enough times, if you're doing it all the time, you begin to just develop a gut sense of what that number should be. And you go on with it. Because you sort of know what you're interested in is what the market is going to do. And the market consists of all sorts of people. But it comes back to being a good poker player. If you do it enough, you come to understand what the market is going to do, how the market is going to react. And every so often you get a goofy one like Facebook, where the market goes absolutely crazy and just drives the price up. And then reality strikes, and it comes flying back down again. You know. Okay. Are we more or less following this? Okay. So now comes where the rubber hits the road. I told you you had to come up with an EPS number for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years for Target and for Kohl's. Okay? That's where you start. And that's where I had you projecting sales and so forth. Then I just said the PE for the market is going to be 18. Right now it's about 18, and I'm just saying let's assume it's not going to change right now. And the first question I asked here was, for this group of companies, Lowe's and Home Depot, should they be trading at a premium or a discount to the market? Now you remember recently they've been trading at a premium because of fear. If you go back over a longer period of time, they trade at a discount because they're sexy. And sort of following the line of thought that the two of you had, I said, okay, they'll trade at a slight premium this year, and then gradually it'll slip back so that by 5 years, I think that's exactly what you said, at 5 years it'll be sort of back where it was. Okay? And what that implies is what know, if there's no premium, the industry PE is 18. If there's a 10% discount, the industry premium is 16.2. That's easy to do in your head. Trust me, a 5% premium. Well, that's easy to do. Gives you the 18. Then the next question I asked is, each of these companies, should they be trading at a premium or a discount? And here we had it going the other way. Remember, it used to be, over the long period of time, we saw that Lowe's traded at a premium to Home Depot, but now I have it trading at a discount, and Home Depot is trading at a discount, but less of a discount than this one. And so on and so forth. Actually, I didn't change these. If there are only two companies in the industry, the two numbers, when you add them together and divide it by 2, have to equal 100. But the idea was that Lowe's would deteriorate, Home Depot wouldn't deteriorate as much. And that actually lets me get the PE for the two companies. Okay? All I've done is I've started from a market, I created an industry, and then I've layered on a company. Should probably change this so that the numbers make sense. So if this one is 105, this one has got to be 0.95. If the next one is 100, this one has got to be 100. Whoops. And if this one, the last one is 90, this one has to be 110. Because there are only two companies in the industry, so if I add the two together, they've got to come out to 100 on average. Okay? So now that's what gives me the PEs for these two companies. Notice that in both cases, the PEs are actually going down, even though the whole economy is getting better. That's what we assumed when we said, you know, we talked about how the industry was going. Now, it might be unrealistic to think that that's going to do that, so if I change this so that because the economy is getting better, this is getting better too, then the PEs would be more or less doing that. So, you know, these are the things that you fiddle with, and you ask yourself, seriously, what makes a difference here? Okay. Once I have this number, these numbers, to figure out what the fair value of the company is, I multiply my estimate of the earnings by that number. That's all I do. So 1.6 times 19.8 says that the fair value for the year would be $31.75. If I do it, if I look at my 5-year estimate for earnings, what's going to happen 2, 3, 4, 5 in 2016? 2.3 times 16.2 says the fair value is 37. That's what I think the company is worth. I think it's worth 31.7 at the end of this year. I think it would be worth $37.22 at the end of 5 years. This one I think will go from 49 to 65. That's what I think the company is worth. And then what you assume is that everybody is doing this kind of work, okay? And some people might be a little bit more optimistic, and some people might be a little bit less optimistic. But when you average everybody together, okay, they're going to come up with an average of the fair value. Okay? Now, for you to make money, your estimate of this has got to be two things. It's got to be different from what the average person thinks, and you've got to be right. Okay? If it's the same as what everybody thinks, who cares? If everybody's got the same number, the price is correct, and you can't make any money. Okay? If you've got a number that's higher, and you're wrong, who cares? The average is going to drive it. The average will be right. But if for some reason you've come up with a number that's different from the average, and you're right, then you have a chance to make money.